Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another video. And holy smokers, this Coinbase stock disaster just got worse. As a matter of fact, it's actually worse than any of us ever imagined. And so let's just go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to break down everything that has been going on and some new updates that we have, or at least going back in history and what we've found, right? So Coinbase on October of 2018 did what's called a Series E funding. And in doing so, they were able to raise some money. And at that time, they were valued at about $8 billion after they were able to raise money, right? So this means that those who bought the shares in the Series E funding round were able to get Coinbase stock at a share price of $36, right? Fast forward to April 2021, pretty much at the peak of freaking crypto almost, Coinbase decided to IPO. The IPO, as soon as the stock opened, they went from being valued at $8 billion a few years ago to being valued at $99 billion. That is like almost a 10x. As a matter of fact, that is a 10x. That's beyond a 10x, right? And they IPO'd at a share price of $381 million. Now, here's where it gets a little funky. So Coinbase IPO'd via a direct listing, which means that insiders can sell their shares without the 6-month lockup. So they didn't have to worry about a lockup. They could immediately sell their shares whenever. You see, in a direct listing, there is no lockup agreement. All of the company's insiders are free to sell their shares on the first day of trading. And as a matter of fact, that is actually what the CEO did. You see, Brian Armstrong actually sold $291 million worth of shares on opening day. The first day the company IPOs, the CEO sold a bunch of stock. And I know what you guys are going to say, right? Oh, well, he should have a right to benefit from the company he built. Okay. So he sold the shares on the first day. Then he goes and he buys a $133 million mansion in Los Angeles. He buys a $133 million estate with that money, right? Now, over the course of a few days after the IPO, Coinbase eventually appreciated further and went from about $381 a share to about $400 per share. This actually valued the company at a little bit more than $104 billion, significantly higher than its $8 billion valuation in 2018, right? So the CEO buys a $100 million house, screws shareholders, right? And now Coinbase is warning that bankruptcy could wipe out user funds. And this isn't my words. This was written in fortune.com. They actually had a section in their shareholders letter that basically explained what would happen if they filed for bankruptcy. And it basically said user funds are not safe and could be wiped out. Now, for those who are in crypto, this is why it's often said that if it's not your keys, it's not your crypto. Meaning if you do not control the private key, then that is not your crypto. How do you get control of the private key? You have to store your crypto in what's called a cold storage wallet, an offline device. There are plenty of devices you can purchase online and get, but everybody in crypto always says that you shouldn't have your crypto on an exchange. But the reason why people do it is because they want crypto exposure without having to go through the complications of having crypto stored on their offline device, off their cold storage wallet. And so because the exchanges have made it so convenient and easy, they still have a lot of users. But as you can see, it comes with some risk. I mean, you have had hacks in the past before, too. You've had Coinbase get hacked. You've had a bunch of other exchanges get hacked. Bitmark got hacked. And users, unfortunately, lost funds. That's why, for me personally, my crypto is on a cold storage wallet. Actually, the device that I use is called a ledger. And I am very happy about that because I know that my crypto is secure. But moving on, the biggest problem I have with Coinbase is they were smart enough to know that this was probably coming. And that's why they did a direct listing, so they could hurry up and sell the shares. And it's funny because the management immediately direct listed into the market and they sold their shares the same day. And now come to find out in the latest earnings report, they have done a terrible job running the company. Now, I know you can blame volume and crypto trading, crypto going down and things like that. But I feel like as management, you should have seen that coming, especially if you've been in crypto long enough. You know that crypto always has these cycles. Crypto goes in cycles. It has these cycles. We've seen this in 2017. Crypto did the same thing. It had this insane parabolic cycle where it ran to the moon and then it came crashing down. And now you're seeing it again. And Coinbase, unfortunately, as a company, was not prepared. And now the company is suffering. And what bothers me so much is we went over the earnings report yesterday. They were still giving out an insane amount of stock-based compensation. And they freaking 3x their employees. But the revenue and the fundamentals don't back that up. So I think this is a serious disaster you've got in Coinbase, on top of the fact that they did a shelf offering yesterday. So I just want to reiterate that this is a horrible company to be in. And I haven't shorted it yet, but I should have, because the company is freaking at $54 now. I wanted to short it this morning. It went from $62 to $54. I'm sorry, guys, but this is a really bad company. And I'm not a fan of the CEO and management at all. I think they're sleazy, and I think they're very untrustworthy. The fact that you IPO'd your company and you took all this money and then you go and buy this huge mansion, but then you're screwing over shareholders. You're taking the excess money that you're getting from shareholder dollars and you went and hired way too many people, but then you're also giving way too much money in share-based compensation, but your volume is going down, your revenue is going down, your users are going down. What have you done to deserve that money? Nothing. And that's the problem with these companies. This is what you guys have to be careful of, is being swindled and thinking that these CEOs are good people and they're there for you. A lot of these companies and CEOs in the market are not there for shareholders. They're there to profit off of you. And unfortunately, the 2021 bubble, we saw a lot of SPACs and CEOs, these penny stocks, paying these YouTubers to pump their stocks. We just saw a lot of just dirty, non-integral, just nasty things happening. And Coinbase, unfortunately, is no different. So if you want my honest opinion, I think Coinbase played a lot of investors. Obviously, the stock was way overvalued, but man, did the management really take advantage of that. And now the CEO just gets to ride off into the sunset, living in this $133 million mansion, while investors who freaking bought the company at $300 have lost like 80% of all their money. So it's just a very messed up situation, but I think this is a great wake-up call. This is a great humbling lesson for all of us, not just all you guys, but just for me too. This is great to see, because honestly, I've never seen this before. I really haven't. I mean, what we've seen in 2021 and going on till now, and how everything's kind of unraveling, and you're kind of seeing this with crypto too, is just very humbling and eye-opening. And it's a great learning lesson to really understand how markets work and just how bad capitalism can be sometimes. Like, man, in this world of capitalism, you really have no friends. People are not there for you. Everybody's there for themselves. And I think Coinbase is an absolutely disgusting company. And at some point, I probably will short it, because I have no doubt that their Q2 earnings is probably going to be worse than their Q1 earnings. But overall, I know a lot of you guys over the weeks before I started talking about Coinbase were asking me about Coinbase and what I think. And some of you guys I know own it. Well, I'm here to tell you, I think Coinbase is one of the worst companies you could own. I think one of the worst things you could do as a shareholder is put your hard-earned money into a company where the CEO could absolutely care less about shareholders, and as a matter of fact, is profiting off you guys and paying himself and his employees in a bunch of share-based compensation. But on the other hand, losing out on users, losing trading volume, losing out on revenue, just every metric you could think of, they're down on. And they're going to continue to decelerate going forward. So I just don't know why anybody would buy this company. It just doesn't make sense to me. And yeah, I am not only not a fan of Coinbase, but I am short Coinbase. And so, yeah, there you guys have it. That'll go ahead and conclude today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.